So I started making my way across to him, you know, try to be friendly. And I asked him, I said, hey, are you a Native American? I try to like get close to him, but he know too. So as soon as we got close, we started fighting each other right on the schoolyard, right?
Boom bop, bing bop, boom bop.
All that. And then the police, they shot with a block gun. Boom, and they shot my leg, right? Boom, and they dropped me. And after that, right? Boom, you know, after that, like I said,
wait, hold on. Let's skip it G. Let's say you got hands, but were you mixing this shit? Who was winning, dog? What up, loved ones? What it do? Spotted Young right here. You know where I'm from. Thanks for tuning in. And if you're new to this channel right here, just hit the subscribe button real quick. Give it a like if you think it's cool, if you think it's real. Hell yeah, man. Trip out. Let's just say, for example, you're like me when I was a little kid. Mr. Know-It-All. You think you're hard. You think you're a gangster because you got a gun. You gang banging on the streets. You know what I mean? You think you're hard, you're riding with your gun and shit, man, you know, with your weapons or whatever, knives, bats, whatever, thinking you hard, you putting in work for your hood, you putting in work in the streets. You really think you're hard in your head. You think you're a man and shit. And then all of a sudden you find yourself, sitting in prison, facing life or facing 14 years or facing whatever time because you thought you was hard. Now you're in prison. What's the most beneficial thing to know if you find yourself sitting in prison? So here comes the homie OG sad boy from TRG Communities. Hell yeah, about to spit some real game right now, man. What's the most important thing that all these people should know and shit, bro? All these people sitting in prison right now.
Thank you, Young, once again for letting me come on your platform once again. And thank you once again to the YouTube audience. Now, I did an interview about a year ago, right? I pretty much spoke on a lot of things, but nothing really focused because I was kind of uncomfortable with my first interview, and I didn't really know what to say, and I was very nervous, right, and apprehensive. So it's been about a year. So now I feel like I have a better sense of from feedback, either positive, negative, and what I can and what I cannot say, right, and pretty much how to conduct myself on YouTube. So me on this interview, I really would like to focus on legal training. Bottom line is constitutional rights and how learning those basically three amendments to the Constitution has changed my life around, right? And it has helped me greatly while doing time incarcerated and on the streets. And I think this is the most beneficial thing that you could learn, right? Or beneficial books that you could read, because these are practical things that you could apply immediately to the prison setting to better your living conditions. Because I know everybody that does time, sooner or later they're gonna run into the issue regarding living conditions, right? And they would always want better living conditions. And I think some people, they might not know that they have rights, or they don't know how to enforce their rights, right? And basically, I just want to speak on that part and how I was able to learn those constitutional rights and how I was able to help myself, others, within during my incarceration.
Yeah. So let's talk about your first experience, because at first, I mean, you didn't know about it first. So how did you end up? When did you start in your prison career? Did you start studying about the law and about your rights as an inmate and what you have to do if you're getting fucked over by the system, by the California prison system? Right. Can you tell us about that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Like I said, right. If you did enough time in any type of correctional institution, right, you were gonna have some type of problem regarding prison conditions, better living conditions, right? And I didn't know nothing about this until my third prison term. I did, like I said for my last video, I basically did 4 separate terms, a 2-year juvenile term and 3 prison terms, right? My first prison term was 16 months, right? My second was 7 years, and my third was 9 years. And I did not get enlightened, right, with this. I did not think about this law or got introduced to it until my third term, right? This was back in 2006 in Corcoran Shoe. That's when I first, like I said, met a guy, And he inspired me greatly, right? From watching him and seeing just how he was being treated, bottom line, right? And I could tell, like, man, they did not want to see this guy, straight up. I don't know how to explain it, right? And I was like, what the? Anyway, from there, it sparked it, right? In Coconut, I stayed about extra 10 months before I got to the main line. And that's where most of my story it starts. Because like I said, I didn't get life until 2006 in Coconut Shoe. And it took me about a year to like study law and to actually apply it on the main line, right?
Yes.
So my first experience was, so I got kicked out of a Coconut Shoe, right? To the CR, the 270, to pending essay. So I waited there 10 months. So after 10 months, right, they sent me to the new Folsom Beach facility, the main line, right? So I stayed there for not even that long. So I'll say about 5-6 months, right? And there was a Korean, right, who posed a threat to the safety and security of the other car, right? So he had to be removed. So me and another Korean ended up removing him, right? And for that, they gave me a 24-month shoot. And this time I went to attachment shoot, 4B, right? And I did all my time right there. So when you go to the shoot, right? Okay, I don't know if man, I don't explain it, but bottom line is when you go to the shoot, there's 8 blocks, there's 8 different buildings, right? And each building has 3 different sections. So 8, 16, 20. So bottom line is you could go to any of 24 different sections. Does it make sense? So when you go to 4B shoot, you got a chance of going to one of 28 different spots you could land, right?
Because you got sections.
Right. Each building got, right? So 3 blocks, so 8, that's 24.
Yeah,
so when you go there, right? You got a 24 chance of landing in any, right? And that's a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so when you go there, right, it's already been litigated that inmates have the right for 10 hours of outside fresh air, right? Because it's been litigated that humans, we need sunlight, we need fresh air. We cannot keep circulating air, right? So the courts already agreed they have to give us 10 hours of minimum outside fresh air, right? Right? And they do it 2 ways. So they have cage yard, which are individual cages, right? And they're just like dog kennels, right? I don't know if you've ever seen a dog kennel, but they look just like, basically you go from your cell to another cell right outside, right? You go to a cell, you and your cell, right? And also they have what they call a group yard, which is the concrete yard, which is on the side of each building. Each block, right, has a concrete yard, and multiple inmates go out there, right? And you're not closed in. You can look in, right? So those are the 2 forms of like that, right? 2 forms of 10 hours that they have to provide for us, right? So now, during this time, which was 2007, they had a group yard for Southsiders, right? The 13s. They had a group yard for the Norteños, the Nortes, the 14s, the Whites, the Bloods, and the Crips, right? But for the Asian Islanders and the others, right, they were not providing us group yards. What they were saying is they're saying, hey, we don't have a group yard for you guys, but you could go to this yard, which was called the RM yard, right? Which is back then it was called reintegrated mixed yard. Basically, it's the equivalent of a 50-50 yard.
Oh, right? Hell no.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
What year was this?
2007.
Oh shit. Yeah.
2007. Okay,
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But like I said, so I said, oh hell no. That's what I'm saying. I already knew it, right? I already know. Just by me studying, right? That this was not right. You could not, first and foremost, right? People, they're not classifying us right, because they're putting our safety and security in danger, because they don't want us to go program with S and Y inmates, right? Where we're GP. You cannot expect us to program with S and Y inmates in a shoe setting or a whole setting, right?
Yeah.
We're general population. You can, I don't care if I'm other. You cannot put me with an S and Y and expect me to program. It doesn't work like that. And that's what they were trying to do to us, our people, right? And second of all, you way more chance of getting the 10 hours of the 10 hours of outside exercise if you go to a group yard, because it's way easier to run it, right? So those are main reasons. I was like, hell no. So yeah, so I told the community, like, yeah, but I want to go to RM, you know? So pretty much I was doing that. So basically I need to set it up to write it up, because it has to have adverse effect, right? So I went out to the shoe yard, the 4B type of shoe. I believe it was like 2 or 3 blocks where they had the RM on it. Whoever, like people that was there, I think they might remember. But yeah, so.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah.
So I'm trying to talk fast because I know we got 2, but yeah, anyway, so I went out to the yard, right? And there was I seen 2 people. I seen the first, there was like an older black dude playing handball. Then I seen like a Hispanic dude like standing on the other side of the basically away from the door, furthest away from the door, right? So I was like, okay, boom. I'm not gonna lie. I assumed that the black dude was a non-affiliated blacks, right? So I was like, man, okay. So I walked up to him and I said, what's up to him? And I give him that, right? So boom, but the Mexican guy, I know he can't be here for a fact. I know he cannot be on RMR, right?
Yeah.
That's prison politics. That's how politics goes.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
cannot be on there. So you know, I already knew, he know too, he cannot be there. So yes, also I started making the way across to him, you know, try to be friendly. And I asked him, I said, hey, are you a Native American? I try to like get close to him, but he know too. So as soon as we got close, we started fighting each other right on the shoe yard, right?
Boom bop, bing bop, boom bop.
All that. And then the police, they shot with the block gun. Boom, and they shot my leg, right? Boom, and they dropped me. And after that, right? Boom, you know, after that, like I said,
wait, hold on. Let's skip PG. Let's say you got hands, but were you mixing this shit? Who was winning, dog?
Well, it was quick. It was too quick.
All right, boom bop, boom bop. Okay.
We both was on high alert, but we already knew.
Yeah.
But see him, like I said, I don't know what he was waiting for, but I already knew him. As soon as I see, I already knew I had to get off on him. So bottom line is, right, you come to find out he's an active fighter, activism. We did what we did, right? And after that, the whole point is, then after that, then I had to fight legal work, right? In the California system, it's called a 602 appeal. You know, I filed a 602 appeal on that, right? On that same issue, like I said, citing unequal treatment, right? You're not giving us due process. You're not tripping. So I got released. So I did 20 months shoe and attachment shoe, right? So I was fighting this in the appeal. It takes a while. Sometimes if they want to play games with you, it might take over a year and a half, right? And that's what they were doing to me because they knew I was trying to go to court with it. So anyway, so after I did 20 months, right? Okay, then I got released to Pelican Bay. And then when I went to Pelican Bay, right? The homie, they came for attachment shoe and they told me that they have a group yard for Asians and others, right? And that's why I want to bring the story up. I don't know how many people fought for that yard, right? And filed paperwork on that, but I did. And like I said, about a year later, they give it to us. They give us our own yard now. So now, like the Asian homies that come to the attachment shoe, they got option to go to group yard now. Does it make sense? So that's what I'm saying. I don't know. Like I said, I'm not saying that I'm the reason for it, but hey, I filed for it, and they changed it. So that's one example, right? Okay, and the second example, it leads to, like I said, I went to the Bay. Right? I did 20 months, so I went to the Bay now, right? I'm like, fuck. So when I first got to the Bay, right, I never seen a prison where everybody was locked down. On beach facility, the blacks were going out with the whites, and the South were going out with the North, right? The whole yard was slammed down. Oh man.
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, my battery's low. Hold up. My bad. Oh, man. Yeah, my battery was low. My bad. Yeah, so anyway, everybody was slammed, right? Everybody was slammed. Like I said, everybody was at wartime. So really, we were the only ones that working in the satellite kitchen, right? Which a kitchen that's in between the block to serve the food for the whole institution because everybody was on lockdown.
Wait, this is in Pelican Bay B yard?
Yeah, in 2009.
2009.
Man, look, it was on.
I was in A yard.
Yeah, B yard was locked down.
I heard about that. Yeah, I heard about that.
I'm talking about they was locked down for a year already, damn near, right? I'm talking about I never been to a prison yard where all the races were fighting each other. It was crazy, right? I never been to a yard like that. And plus, Pelican Bay is broken down into 40 separate sections. So that tripped me out. So anyways, so about a year go by, and they're letting the inmates out now, right? And there was and you know how in Pelican Bay at the time on B yard, it was only 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 blocks that were mainline, right? I think half of 4 blocks, 5, 6, 7, 8. So basically 4 blocks and a half were only mainline, right? That was it. And the rest were different type of housing. So yeah, so about a year and a half, right, to let the 4 blacks out, right, to yard. They released yard. And anyway, so bottom line is the Asian Islander got into a right with the blacks, right there on B facility in 2010, I believe, right there on the last one. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. After that, right, they snatch all up, and then now they take us to the hall, right? Write us up. It's called participation in a riot, right? So now they're trying to give me an indeterminate shoe, right? An indeterminate shoe means you could get indeterminate shoe 2 ways, right? One way is you either a validated gang member or an associate, or you're considered a program failure and you have 3 shoes within 5 years. Then you qualify for indeterminate shoe. So me, because I had 3 different shoe terms, including the riot, that counted as my 3rd, right? Within 5 years, they give me an indeterminate, right? And I had a celly, I don't want to put his name, but I'll say that he was a louse, right? He's from Eastside Long Beach. He was part of the SEA Alliance, right? I'll say that.
Yeah.
So they gave him an indeterminate shoe too, right? They gave him the same thing, right? Okay, so they gave us because the participation in the riot is not even a long shoe. It's like 2, 4, 6, 2 months, 4 months. Right? So basically, they give us 4 months to mid, and then after that, they give us indeterminate. So now they give us both to me and my celly, right? But my celly, one of the 115s, one of the shoe offenses that they were trying to use to give an indeterminate shoe was dismissed, right? He did not even, the 115 shouldn't even count it, right? But the prison officials didn't care, right? They still stuck it, right? And gave him an indeterminate shoe. So when I seen that, right, I said, damn, I said, hey, Shelly, I said, they messed up. They messed up. You could get kicked out right now, right? And my Shelly had no idea, bro. He don't know nothing about paperwork, nothing, right? So I said, you know what, man, don't even trip. I'm gonna write this up for you, right? And that's what I did. I filed, it's called a 602 appeal, right? Explaining the situation, and within 2 months, he got released from indeterminate shoe, right?
And
that's example number 2, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now
I would have just took it too and shit. I would have just accepted that shit. Fuck
Everybody would. Everybody would. But why? But why? They made the mistake. You didn't make the mistake. They made the mistake. They made. So why are?
He just straight getting fucked over and shit.
I'm not doing
ignorance.
Yeah, you don't know your rights. You don't say it was simple. All you had to do was write a 602, right? Simple, but he didn't know how to. He's like, man, I don't know how to do that. I'm like, don't even worry. I wrote everything up for him. All he did was just sign it, right? 2 months, granted. Okay, so next one continues. So now after I did the indeterminate shoe, I got released to AR, right? I got released to AR. So I'm like, yes, AR, that's the program, AR. I'm gonna like it here, right? I only had, like I said, a 9-year sentence. By this time, I only have 4 years left. So after the shoot term, I only had like a year and a half left, right? I'm like, yes, I'm on AR. And before I got there, right, the homies and the Southsiders got in a riot too. So that y'all were kind of tension a little bit, right, when I first got there. So I was like, anyway, so after that settled, I was like, yes, AR. And they gave me a job in the PIA laundry, right? And my celly got a job in, my celly, he was a Tongan homie from SAC, man, shout out to the homie. Anyway, so he got a job in the main kitchen. So we're like, yeah.
That's the best job in there, right?
Yeah. Listen, I just came out the shoe. I'm like, yeah. So about a month, right, goes by, and bam, you know how the people were hunger striking at the time, and pretty much, right, I was in basically Pelican Bay, right, the headquarters, and this was like the last hunger strike, work stoppers, right, they came, like certain inmates came and asked us, hey, we be doing this, if you want to participate, you can, right? So we didn't have to. The Asian Islander, we didn't have to. But me and the other Asian homies and the islanders that work, right? We all feel like, okay, look, we've been to the shoe. You know what I'm saying? We want that. Like anytime they're trying to change, like better living conditions for us, me personally, I'm with it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, fuck it. So work. So basically, hunger strike and work stoppage, right? Hunger strike, work stoppage, wrote us up, right? Program failure. And as soon as they put me on program failure, right, they sent me right back to BR. They sent me back to BR. I said, oh man. So basically, I was in TIA laundry, and then now I'm on C status. Got all my stuff took. Now I'm going back to BR with nothing. So I'm like, fuck it. I'm like, hey, I ain't tripping. I don't care, bro. Because they're fighting for living conditions. And like I said, I've been to the shoot 3 times. I want change. So anyways, this is the third example. And this is the most important one that I remember, right? So when I was leaving, right, I was saying goodbye to all the homies that live in my section. It was like maybe like 3 cells of us, right? So when I was going to the homie cell, he stopped me. He said, hey, do me a favor. Help me write this. It's called a COA, right? Certificate of Appealability on a life sentence, right? I don't know if people know. On a life sentence, if you get loose for a life, you get automatic appeal. From the right, when you lose a life sentence, it's called an automatic appeal. And they're gonna assign a lawyer for you, right? But they're dump trucks. But anyway, after you lose on a direct appeal, then only way you have to go back on a habeas corpus, right? So anyways, he asked me, he said, hey, because he already lost in the district court. So bottom line, he's asking me to help him, right, file a COA for his life sentence. And I was like, damn, right? Mind you, I'm leaving, right? I'm going to VR. I'm going to pack my stuff. I'm going to say goodbye. So I was like, fuck it. I never filed anything like this. So I was like, all right, you know what? I could see that he really needed help. So I was like, okay, you know what? Let me get that. And I'm going to try my best. And I'm going to find, basically, I wrote a COA for him, right? It's called a Certificate of Appealability for his life appeal, right? And basically, I went to B facility, and I didn't know nothing about this. So I studied like all day from like inmate self-help legal books, and I researched it, and because I know how to write a brief, right, or basically it's called a memorandum of points on authority. I know how to write one of them. So this motion, the COA motion, was not that difficult for me. So bottom line is, I went to B facility, I worked on it, and I sent it, and I basically wrote it out, and I sent it to his people on the streets. So his people on the streets, boom, received it. Then he got back at me, and this is what he told me. He said, hey, thank you for helping me, right? But he said, bottom line is, he said, thank you for helping me, and I just want to let you know that I'm going to get better than you in this legal thing. That's what he told me, right?
I'm going to get what?
He want to get better than me in the legal, as far as the legal knowledge, right?
Yeah.
And that made me very happy because, see, look, I was rolling. I'm leaving, right? And hopefully the homie right here, man, this dude's a good homie right here. You know what I'm saying? If he got the mental, like, if he had.
What is he? He's Vietnamese?
I'll put him out there. He's from Vanna Asian Boys. You probably know him. He's from
yeah, I know him. Yeah. He's not. Yeah, I know.
He got locked up when he was 15, right?
Yeah. Still a virgin.
I don't know, but I'm just saying. But we talk about it. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
I helped him on the COA. But anyway, I say all this to say that me, like I said, from my examples, I was able to help very different people, right? In different circumstances. Like I said, the shoe yard, I'll try to get that. Oh, I didn't even mention another thing, man. Another thing, right? When I first got to Pelican Bay, right? When you were shoe kick out, meaning that when you were getting released to the shoe, they were putting this thing. They made you go to a step-up program called BMU. It's called Behavioral Management Unit, right? Back then.
Yeah.
And it's a step-up program. Yeah. And oh man, damn.
Power bank on.
Yeah. My bad. It's got to run out of power, but yeah. Anyway, I filed paperwork on that, right? I was like, man, this is not right, because what they're doing is or credits or like a good credit and or property rights are being violated. But anyway, so I challenged that too, and I don't know. I'm not saying it was all me, but I was the last class in Pelican Bay, the B facility, to go through BMU in 2009, right? I was there from August to December, and they shut it down, right? They shut the BMU down. I'm not saying I was responsible, but I filed paperwork on that, and they shut it down.
If you don't believe in coincidence, put two and two together.
Like I gave up. Like I said, the Asians got a shoe yard attached me now. When I went there, we didn't have it. I fought for it. I filed paperwork on it. Now we have it, right?
Yeah. This this is what they say. The pen is mightier than the sword. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah.
Man. That's
You
what I'm
just
saying.
gotta use your brain.
Yeah, because in prison, right?
Like
The seat. Oh, it's 25 minutes, young.
so it's good. It's good.
Okay. But
Yeah.
anyways, yeah. Okay, look, from my experience, right? Like I said, I got about 16 years in the CDCR system. I have a K number. I first came to prison in August of 1996, right? Like I said, I hit level 2, level 3, I hit 180 shoot programs, all that, right? And like I said, I know that this legal, it helped me, man, tremendously, right? Protect myself, and like I said, help others. Because if you know how to go to court, right? If you know how to go to federal court and argue before a judge, right? You're a very powerful person. And CDCR, they keep track of people like you. Like me, I know for a fact they had it in their file. In my file, I already know they have something about me. You know what I'm saying? They like this guy right here. He will fucking file paperwork, right? And try to get that shit changed, or try to get money. You know what I mean? And I'm just speaking just to say this, okay? When you, like I said, when you go to prison, right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna stuck in a cell all day. What are you gonna do? Are you gonna drugs? Are you gonna get out? What are you gonna do? Right? And like I said, learning your constitutional rights, just 3 of them. All you gotta remember is the First Amendment, the 8th Amendment, and the 14th Amendment, right? The First Amendment is freedom of speech. Everybody understand, right? Freedom of religion, right? Everybody understand that. Retaliation, right? 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment. That's how the people from the shoot that they got out on the 8th Amendment, cruel and unusual punishment.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, and then now 14th Amendment, due process right. Due process right is basically procedural rights, right? Anything like, for example, you gotta go to court at this time, right? You gotta file this motion at this time. It's basically procedural rights. And if you understand those 3 constitutional rights, right? And you read this one book, right? And I just want to mention this one book, and you study this book will save your life, man. It will change your life. Like I said, your prison IQ will go way up. And the book, if it's okay, right? It's called Protecting Your Health and Safety. It's written by a Southern Poverty Law Center, right? It's a book called Protecting Your Health and Safety. And it talks about your constitutional rights and how to protect your rights, enforce your rights, right? But once you read this book and you, let's say, have a good understanding of this book, you could do any law work. Any law will be very manageable for you. Does that make sense? Because me, I study constitutional rights, but criminal law is damn near the same. Same principle, same places, everything is damn near the same. It's just different wording, just different elements that they got to prove. That's all it is, right? And like I said, when you're in prison, what are you gonna do? You're gonna do drugs all day? What are you gonna do? You have to do something. This is the most beneficial thing you could do, because you could apply it immediately. Immediately. You know what I'm saying? And you can help yourself immediately. You know what I mean?
Bro.
I have examples on the street too.
Yeah.
I help people on the streets, but like I said, I have examples on the street. You want me to tell you an example on the street how I help somebody?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna tell you an example how I apply my legal training. Okay, so I have a homie, right? He's the younger homie, and basically he got caught with an AR-15, right? He got caught with an AR-15, right? And he had a prior gun case, and he went to prison for that, right? So that's what he's facing. He's fighting that. So I took him. So basically, I'm like, look, man, don't trip. I'm gonna help you. So I just drive him to court, right? Drive him to court. He's like 3 hours away. 3 hours there, 3 hours back. So I just take him to court, right? And go and talk to the lawyer. Basically, I just ask him basic things. So the first thing I ask him is, look, man, where's the discovery? Do you know what discovery is? In any case, right? They have any type of evidence, all evidence, right? It's called contain discovery. And they have to disclose that to you, all the evidence, right? And for some reason, the public defenders on the streets, they do not like to shoot the discovery, right? It's like a hassle, right? So anyway, so I'm taking this guy 3 times. So about the 3rd time, right? I was tired. And like I said, it was like 3 hours away. So I was like, look, you go in there, go to court, whatever, I'm gonna go in later. So I laid in the car for about 10 minutes, right? Just close my eyes and I rest my eyes, right? And I was like, okay, so I go in. And as soon as I hit the corner, right, I seen him with paper and with a pen. This fool was about to sign something. So I said, hey, man, hold up. I said, what are you doing? He said, man, I'm about to sign this 30. He said, he's going to sign 32 months for 80%. I said, what? I said, why are you signing that? You didn't even got the discovery yet. But anyways, I stopped that. So I said, nah, we're not doing that. So bottom line is I kept like talking to the lawyer, like, nah, man, 32 is too much. What do? And I kept talking to him, especially about the discovery, right? I said, look, we don't even got the discovery yet. How are you gonna? Anyway, bottom line, I'm talking to him. So sure enough, he said, you know what? Let me see if I can do something. He went back in the court, right? And then 5 minutes later, he came back out. And he said, hey, 2 at halftime. I said, okay, 2 at halftime, we'll take that. But the 80, look, like I said, for me intervening, right? Intervention, when this fool's about to sign it, right? I say this fool from 32 months with 80% to 2 at halftime. Straight up. I
Yeah. Hey, you know what? To those who don't understand, time is priceless and shit, bro. Time is fucking priceless, man. You can't even pay $1 billion to buy time right now. Yeah, man.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Me, and another one, I got a friend, right? He's my childhood friend. Same thing, right? And what happened was this guy, he's trying to go see a girl at a motel, right? So he's trying to go see some chicks at a mall, and he got into with the workers at the mall, 3 of them, right? So basically, he got into with 3 workers at the Motel 6, and they were jumping him and beat him up, right? So this fool defending himself, and they stabbed one of them. He stabbed one of them in the stomach, right? Boom, right? They go back up off of him, and he threw the knife anyway. And they still trying to beat his ass. So anyway, he got locked up for that, right? And man, they were trying to talk about 7 years for that. They were talking about 7 years. I said, what? I was like, man, this dude is defending. But anyways, for that one, same thing. I kept arguing, discovery to 2 at halftime. 2 at halftime.
That's crazy.
So that's what
that's crazy, man.
Like I said, I was somebody who got AR-15, 2 at halftime. He had a prison prior.
Yeah. If I would have known you on the streets, I probably would have done fucking 2 at halftime and shit.
Man, because
instead of 14 years. Yeah.
No, with him, he's a black dude, so they were trying to break him off. They were talking about 7 because he got a domestic violence. He got a DV. They were like, no, he's violent. He stabbed them. He got 7 years. I was like, fuck all that. You slide the discovery. Let me see the cameras. Anyways, bottom line is 2 at halftime.
It's all about the knowledge. But I don't mean to cut you off. It's just our time is about it might get cut. I like what you just said earlier. You said when you find yourself sitting in prison because you was hard-headed like me, and we ended up going to prison because we're Mr. Know-it-all. We thought, whatever, and she ended up going to prison. That's the most beneficial thing to do. And what you just asked earlier, what are you gonna do when you're in prison? What are you gonna do when you're in fucking prison? That shit made me laugh a little bit because most of the people in the CDCR went to PCs and shit. That's what they end up doing anyway. They went to SNY. That shit made me laugh right there, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but, if you don't have a goal or you don't have no type of focus, the time is gonna do you. Yeah. You gotta do the time. You're gonna sit there and you're gonna be just angry. You're gonna be angry.
Yes, sir. I know exactly what you mean because when I was in the pen, not everyone was disciplining themselves like us, like working out. A lot of them they became dolphins. They just became whatever and shit, just gave up on life. But that's how you find out who's gonna fight back, and people are gonna expose you. Period. I mean, prison is gonna expose man. So yeah. But anyways, do you have any last words, brother, before we get cut off?
No, I just want to thank you again, for allowing me on a platform to speak, because like I said, I've been working with you from the gate, and you've been keeping it real. So I got to message you.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you too for spitting game. We got a gang of Asian Islander homies doing life, doing time, and not just them. Millions of other inmates are doing time period that they don't know about the law, they don't know about their rights. So I appreciate you helping out because like you said, if we're just gonna keep accepting everything, we're just gonna get fucked over by the system. And
that's the only way you're gonna change is through court action. Nothing changes without going to court. The judge has to say change. They're not gonna change. You have to go to court. And that's what I'm saying. And all you gotta do is 3, read this book, Protecting Your Health and Safety. It's on Amazon. That's the best book you'll ever read, hands down. And I read hundreds of books. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. And, you know, but like we said earlier, pen is mightier than the sword. But
yes,
last resort when nothing else can be done. And that's when we go to violence. But if we can't avoid violence, if we can win with just our pen and just our brain, then that's a better honorable win than with violence. Yes, sir.
From my experience, you fight the police with a pen on paper. You fight inmates with physical. You fight inmates physical, but the COs in the correctional, you got to fight them with paper, with the laws, just like they use against you, right? Physical is not going to work against the administration. You're going to lose every time. You will not win. You have to fight with paper in the courts, in federal courts, before a judge.
Straight game. Thank you, brother. I appreciate you coming through. Just stay in touch, and hopefully I'll see you soon, man. Hopefully you come to the Philippines. And with that being said, y'all know what time it is. Say what you mean and mean what you say, because real recognize real, homeboy.
All right.
I'm out of here, man.